Greg and Monica had it all. At least, that's what it looked like on the outside. They were young, in love, and living in a trendy high-rise with skyline views, champagne toasts, and brand-name everything. But behind every filtered photo and designer handbag was a truth quietly bleeding through their bank accounts. They weren't rich. They weren't even stable. They were drowning, and didn't know it yet. They weren't reckless. They weren't irresponsible. They were just trying to live the dream. Greg and Monica had what many would call a decent life. 2 steady jobs, a combined $60,000 income, and a future filled with promise. But somewhere between trying to look the part and living above their means, they crossed a dangerous line. They didn't notice the slow creep of lifestyle inflation. They brushed off the early warnings of budget denial. And they didn't realize their habits had become financial traps until everything collapsed. They weren't alone. Millions fall into the same cycle every year. Overspending, overcompensating, overlooking the truth, until it's too late. This series isn't just about how they lost everything. It's about how anyone can. Because when success is measured by appearances, even a modest income can't save you from going broke if you're living a life you can't afford to maintain. This is their story. This is your warning. Welcome to our new story. They lived like millionaires on a $60,000 salary. Now they're homeless. Episode 1. The Dream Life on Paper. Greg and Monica looked like they had it all. Stylish, young, and always smiling in their Instagram photos. Champagne glasses raised at rooftop lounges, new outfits every weekend, and a sleek downtown apartment with a skyline view that screamed success. They were the kind of couple people envied. College sweethearts who landed jobs right after graduation, living the kind of life most only dream about in their 20s. But what no one saw, what not even Greg and Monica wanted to admit to themselves, was the math behind it all. Together, they earned around $60,000 a year. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't enough to justify the lifestyle they had built around image and impulse. From day one, they lived as though they were already successful. Not planning for it. Not building toward it. Living like it was already here. Instead of a modest first apartment, they leased a high-rise condo that ate up more than 40% of their monthly income. Rather than buying used or budgeting for furniture, they filled it with sleek, modern pieces financed through easy monthly payments. When their friends posted photos from getaways and high-end dinners, Greg and Monica did the same, swiping credit cards and convincing themselves they deserved it. That it was normal. They told themselves it was just temporary. That their income would grow and catch up. But every financial decision pushed them further into a trap. Lifestyle inflation became their default setting. Every slight increase in income triggered another upgrade. A better phone. A bigger wardrobe. A shinier car. The problem wasn't that they didn't make money, it was that they refused to respect its limits. The early warning signs were subtle, and they ignored them all. A declined transaction here. A surprise overdraft fee there. Utility bills that got paid late, not because they didn't have money, but because they were juggling due dates and hoping something would clear in time. They convinced themselves they were in control. That this was how success was supposed to feel in the beginning. But deep down, the tension was growing. Greg stopped checking the bank app altogether. Monica started avoiding calls from unknown numbers. Credit card statements piled up in unopened envelopes. They were living the life of the wealthy, but it was all on borrowed time and borrowed money. Budget denial became their silent agreement. Talking about money meant confronting the truth, and neither of them wanted to do that. So they smiled for the photos, showed up at every social event, and clung to the illusion. They weren't budgeting, they weren't saving, and they weren't planning. They were pretending. Living on a fantasy stitched together with credit, pride, and fear of falling behind. And while the world applauded their glow-up, their finances were quietly falling apart. They didn't know it yet, but they were just one missed paycheck away from collapse. One emergency away from reality crashing through their glass lifestyle. Because when you build a dream on a shaky foundation, it only takes one hard truth to bring it all down. The rise of lifestyle inflation. It didn't happen all at once. There was no dramatic leap, no sudden shopping spree or one-time splurge that threw Greg and Monica's finances into chaos. It was slower. quieter, more dangerous. It was in the way their expectations changed with every paycheck. When Greg picked up his first freelance gig and brought home an extra $800, they didn't save it. They upgraded their gym membership, bought AirPods, dined out without checking the menu prices. It felt like progress, like life was finally starting to reward them. Monica's small promotion at work brought in a little more too. So they celebrated with a weekend trip to Miami. A deserved break, they told themselves. We've earned this. But what they really earned was a taste of something they could barely afford to begin with. And once they had that taste, anything less felt like going backward. That's the trap of lifestyle inflation. Every improvement in income brought a matching, or greater, increase in spending. Instead of building a cushion, they built expectations. And those expectations needed feeding. Constantly. Suddenly, the $3 coffee became a daily ritual. Brunch on Sundays became non-negotiable. Groceries shifted from bulk stores to gourmet aisles. Every part of their life got shinier, newer, more curated, but not more secure. The numbers never added up. They just got moved around. When the checking account dipped, the credit card stepped in. When the rent renewal came with a 10% hike, they shrugged and signed, because anything smaller felt like a downgrade. They weren't just spending money. They were defending a lifestyle they had convinced themselves they needed. Friends praised their glow up. Social media reinforced their illusion. But the truth was, Greg and Monica weren't growing. They were stretching. Thin. Too thin. Every month began with optimism and ended with anxiety. They started timing grocery runs around payday, ignoring small overdrafts, paying minimums, rolling balances. And the worst part? They still thought they were doing okay. They weren't extravagant. They weren't throwing money at designer bags or bottle service every night. They were just living slightly above their means, every single day. That's how lifestyle inflation works. It doesn't look dangerous until it's already devoured your ability to save, breathe, or prepare for what's coming. And what was coming was something no credit limit could fix. What would you have done differently? Greg and Monica's story isn't just about bad decisions. It's about how easy it is to make the wrong ones feel like the right ones, until they're too far in to turn back. They didn't see lifestyle inflation coming. They didn't realize they were normalizing debt. And now, what started as small habits is turning into a financial freefall. Now it's your turn to reflect. What part of Greg and Monica's story hit you the hardest so far? Was it the pressure to fake it till you make it? Or how fast lifestyle upgrades became their new normal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might help someone else wake up before it's too late. And ask yourself this: if credit cards help them build the illusion of wealth, what happens when the limits run out? Stay tuned for the next episode coming up next week, same time, same channel. Credit cards, the quiet killer. If this story gripped you, it's because it's real, and it's happening to more people than you think. Don't just watch. Learn. Share. Act. Subscribe to Money Traps for more true stories that expose the hidden dangers of modern money habits. This video if it made you think twice. Turn on the notification so you'll be the first to get notified when new stories drop. Share it, because the next story we tell could be someone you love. Let this be a wake-up call, not a preview of your future.